talk about different types of crisis and dealing with that. As I sent you that message, I've been to so many war-torn countries, Rwanda, Burundi, where they had 1.2 million people die from genocide. And then I also have been to Pakistan after 9/11. I worked at Ground Zero the first week of 9/11 in New York City. And then 10 years later, I went to New York University and earned a master's degree in global affairs, which was literally 2 blocks from the World Trade Center, where the terrorist attack happened. And then I was in Timor-Leste, which is a small little island north of Darwin, Australia, and Indonesia, which broke away after 25 years of oppression, and 250,000 people died and being slaughtered by the Indonesians there. They
like
became
a genocide.
Very much, yeah. They speak Portuguese there. They're a Portuguese colony, and they broke away and became their own nation, newly recognized, quite poor nonetheless, but they overcame that. And when I was speaking there in churches and ministering, to my surprise, they overcame their war for independence, though they were really outnumbered and the odds were against them. And then Myanmar, working there with Bible College, speaking.
How did you get to? How did you get into all of these?
I've been to 3. I graduated from 3 Bible colleges, and when I was in these churches, people have connections. And my professor in my first Bible college, he had planted a lot of churches in a Bible college himself in Myanmar, known as Burma. And then working with monks. Some of my translators were former monks in Myanmar. And they were involved in the democratic movement, and some of them, had to deal with a lot of persecution and challenges. And then also Pakistan, I went there twice after 9/11. The first time I was wearing a bulletproof vest when I was ministering there. I met a young lady named Gulnaz who had acid thrown on her face and arms because a Muslim boy tried to date her, and she said, "No, I'm a Christian, I'm not going to date you." And he came back a few days later and threw acid on her. So I talked to her. I talked to another British gentleman who ran a Christian school in Pakistan. He said, "My wife and kids can't come here. It's not safe." And he said there were young men with backpacks and guns who were Pakistanis who came into the school recently, and they pulled guns on people and started shooting. In Pakistan, they burned down churches on Christmas Day. So there's a lot of people like that I've met who have gone through some challenges and difficulties. I have a video on YouTube, but I put when I went to Rwanda, I went to one of the memorials where it was at a church where they burned down, they killed and massacred people with machetes and tools that were used for agriculture and farming. And there was one memorial site where I was with the African pastor who translated it and showed me around, and it was pretty gruesome.
How do you interact with these people though? Because I'm thinking, to see that level of devastation, it cannot be just...
I'll never forget when I went to the tsunami epicenter in Banda Aceh. I think it was in 2004, about 2-3 months after it happened. More than 200,000 people died in a single day. I met Muslim men who told me, my wife and my 5 children died. I cried for 2 months after this devastation. So it's not easy, and sometimes the best thing you can do is just be quiet, empathize, listen, love them, show kindness, and the less you say sometimes is more, because just your presence alone is comforting and reassuring. And sometimes you give a hug, sometimes you just listen. And I kind of helped this one young man who wanted to rebuild his house at the tsunami epicenter. I gave him a tent, and one of my friends from Puerto Rico who went with me, he was skilled in construction, so he started helping rebuild the home from the foundation level, and gave him some supplies. So you just do what you can in any given circumstance. You have to be led by the Holy Spirit, and knowledge is great, but without divine insight or inspiration or unction or guidance, it's useless. So you really have to be Spirit led, I think, in any given situation. I